cohesion amongst them now. But literally, I had to sit there for like 3 minutes while they sang a cover of the song, and then finally it's done. You know, this is how, and this is my rule for determining whether something's artistic or pornographic. Like when Superman changes from Clark Kent to Superman, the first time he does it, they have to like really show it fully, like to show exactly the process of how he does it. And then afterwards, they just kind of allude to it. Like he just takes his glasses off and they cut and he's Superman, right? Similarly, in like non-porn, the first love scene is quite long, and they get into it. But then afterwards, when there's a love scene, they kind of just they fade and the camera goes right, But in porn, it doesn't. Like the length of that scene continues for the entire length because that's really why you're watching, you know. So like when I watch Superman, I'm not watching Superman for the transformation scene. I'm not watching like most dramatic fiction for the sex scenes, you know. And that's like it's something that often happens in shows like stuff that Showtime does, like where it's like is this a drama or is this porn? I can't tell. The way you can tell is if the length of the love scenes does not get shorter as the story moves on. That's my rule. And the same thing with musicals. It's like if we establish that they are people who sing, then I think we can cut ahead in future moments by just saying like, okay, a couple notes of the song it starts and then cut. We don't have to actually see the song in full. I know that's a convoluted and bizarre theory that is in no way related to Japan, but I need to get that off my chest. I feel a lot better now. Um, yeah, they don't have TiVo here yet. At least I'm not aware of it. Actually, I BitTorrent it, so I could, if I was not lazy, stand up and go over to my computer and fast forward it. That's that's almost more painful than sitting through it. Nah, it's close. It's close. Dana XOXO, it is tough, but out of my love for all of you, I come here each Friday. How long does it take you to download a 40-minute show? It takes me about 2-3 minutes to download a 40-minute show. 5 minutes, maybe, if it's a new one. I have an awesome, awesome members-only torrent site, uh, and you have to keep like they're very strict on like upping uploads, and it's the first time like I got a friend invited me into like brought me in, and since I've been on that, it's been life changing. But like there's a limit to how much you can download. Like I binged on Battlestar Galactica. I mentioned this a while ago, and so I downloaded like probably like 40 gigabytes over the course of two weeks, and I was like banned from downloading anything for like a week. I used to use Mini Nova, and that sucked, but now that's gone too. I'm not sure if the internet in Japan is faster than anywhere else. I don't know. I don't know. It's alright. It's fast, I guess. Wi-Fi here sucks. There's no Wi-Fi anywhere. They're they're very miserly about their Wi-Fi. Japan's not cool with pirating stuff, but the letter you get from your internet provider is in Japanese, so I can just pretend I can't read it. Paid-for Wi-Fi is everywhere in Japan. If you want to pay up for a subscription service, which is what I'm doing, then you can get internet access everywhere. But like free Wi-Fi is almost non-existent in the city. So any of like the major like coffee shops or fast food places, you have to pay to use their Wi-Fi service. Fuckers. It's only like really really small mom and pop like bohemian coffee shops that have some like free Wi-Fi connection with like a login name, like a password that's the name of the cocker spaniel that lives in the cafe. That's the only time you ever get free Wi-Fi in the city. I'm paying about $80 a month for my new this connection here. The yeah, it's not like I mean I don't know. Wi-Fi is great, but I mean mm, I'm wondering like with the future of internet and whatnot, if it's not going to be more towards iPhone type devices rather than trying to hook your PC up. I'm sure it's gonna go more in the direction of like iPhone type devices, and I'm sure eventually internet's going to become just in the ether, everywhere. Well, that's very nice of you, Wendy. Completely without any self-interest. That's amazingly kind. That's so cool to see someone just stop by and just say hi, without any ulterior motive. It's really that's really cool. Just because they believe in the blog TV community. Touching. Just joking. Don't worry. I am an asshole. I am. Sorry. I didn't mean to be an asshole. I was just. It's. I should have a lobotomy or something to remove the snarkiness. Yeah, Japan has tons of blog websites. Actually, a number of the Japan YouTubers have their own um, Japanese language blogs. I have not gone the route of the Japanese language blog yet because I mean I used to write like a diary when I was first learning Japanese, and it was like wake up, go to work, finish work, drink beer, sleep. Next day, wake up, go to work, finish work, drink beer, sleep. That was like, because my Japanese level was so shitty, that's about all I could write. And I ended up sounding like some sort of German nihilist who had survived a post-apocalyptic explosion in a brewery, you know? So I gave up on like trying to record like my life in any way through Japanese. But now that my Japanese is better, I've thought about trying to do it again. I don't know. But Amebla is the big one in Japan. Amebla is the number one probably Japanese language blog website. Yeah, all people on Amebla do though is take pictures of their food that they're eating. And Japanese bloggers like Gainojin, like famous people who are the most popular, like the Ashton Kutchers of Japan, uh, have the most vapid blogs ever. They're so vapid. It's painful. Uh, yeah, Obama's not here yet. I don't know why. He must have gotten held up at his meeting with Hatoyama. Um, yeah, the Japanese bloggers tend to post a lot and about nothing. Ah, Hanyu-san! Good to see you. Um, well, one of the weird things about my YouTube video was when I first started doing YouTube videos, I I truly, absolutely did not ever expect or really want this kind of attention it's brought. And I was like 50-50 between should I do it in English or should I do it in Japanese. And I didn't do it in Japanese because I just kind of chickened out at the last minute. Said, "Ah, fuck, I'll do it in English." And now I am so glad I didn't do it in Japanese, and like it's so painful for me to put up any Japanese of my own at all because there's just so many jerk offs out there waiting to pounce upon me, then point out how shitty my Japanese is, and I just don't need that in my life. Like I hold down a job in Japanese, several jobs actually in Japanese, so my Japanese is fine. All right, I have numerous interpersonal relationships conducted entirely in Japanese. But like, there's just these like Japanese wonks out there who are just like their life goal is to point out that their Japanese is better than whoever's. Like, I mean, the best example of it I can give is the endless argument or debate about whether or not Apple Milk's Japanese is good. I just fucking hate that discussion so much. So much I hate that discussion. It's like it's so retarded. It's so retarded because like I've met so many people who like speak excellent Japanese but have nothing interesting to say. Likewise, I've seen so many people Japanese people speak excellent English and bore the shit out of me. The last person to want to talk to, you know. And like it's a curve. Everybody's on it at some point. You know, if you've just gotten here, perhaps you're a beginner at the language and you're struggling to get better. If you've been here many years, hopefully your language skills are progressed further. But like the competitive nature of like between foreigners of whose Japanese is better, I just find disgusting and abhorrent, and it's one of the least attractive qualities of foreigners living here. This, you know, cock size measuring people do about like their Japanese language ability. I've known Apple Milk for several years in the real world outside of the internet, and I can tell you she's actually a fairly nice, grounded human being. But I can understand if you only knew her through the internet why you would think she's a tard. Um, but I mean, the internet needs enemies to thrive. The internet needs people to be hated. She fulfills that role. So, and actually, I think if she wasn't so hateable, she wouldn't be half as popular as she is. Her Japanese is excellent. Her Japanese is far better than mine. Her Japanese is fantastic. I don't know. Anyway, this is not the Apple Milk discussion show. My point is that, like, one of the most annoying things is when one foreigner judges another foreigner's Japanese. It's like, it's just the most irritating thing in the world when I see, like foreigners doing that. Like, seriously, shut the fuck up, dude. No one asked you. No one asked you to chime in with your opinion on how that other person's Japanese is. Like, I'm trying to think of what I can compare it to, like an analogous thing. It's hmm, trying to think of like a good analogous thing. Hmm. I can't come up with anything good. Yeah, and foreigners who shun tourist foreigners, I hate that. I hate that so much more. I mean, my friend Chris has this great phrase for it, and he says Japaneseier than thou. Like all the foreign, he's lived here 20 years, so I mean he can claim it, but he never does. But it's this Japaneseier than thou bullshit, like where foreigners who live here think, oh, well, I've been in here so long, and my Japanese is level one, so I can judge every other person by my personal, you know, fuck you, dude. Seriously, fuck you. Yeah, Japanese people will correct my Japanese sometimes. Like friends will say, like in a work meeting, if there's like something I habitually get wrong, sometimes like a Japanese coworker will say, actually, you should say it this way, not that way. And I'm cool with that. I'm actually incredibly embarrassed when they say it, but I'm cool with that. But every now and then, like when a fellow foreigner does it, it's just like, seriously, dude, shut the fuck up. Seriously, I don't want to hear that from you. I mean, and when it's meant, positively, like someone's trying to help you out, someone's trying to be a bro, or someone's just being a dick, and it's dick on the internet. Because on the internet, like someone makes some bee's dick size small little mistake, and there's like 10 comments saying, actually, it's said this way. And it's usually something really retarded. It's like someone has said like some basic like level one like entry level Japanese statement like konnichiwa or something like that, and there's all these comments like actually it's konnichiwa, you know. It's just like shut the fuck up. Seriously. So ridiculous. Yeah, I mean, like I mean, like when I see people who are like illiterate on the internet, I never say anything about it, and I never correct them. I just make a mental note that this person is a somewhat functioning illiterate in society. It says something to me about a person. When they're and my grammar's shit too. I'm a writer for God's sakes. My grammar's not as good as it should be. But I don't use internet shorthand, and I don't. You know, it's just I make a mental note. Like it's part of that person's personality that they cannot type full words. It's not necessarily a bad thing. I know many like Sam. Sam, for example, I've never received a text message from TKO Sam in which at least one word was not written in internet shorthand. But it's that's part of his personality, and that's why I am from a different time and place than he is, I suppose. But I would never like correct him on it, you know. Yeah, and there is a point I think everybody agrees where it just becomes unreadable, where it's just like, what are you trying to say? I don't understand this. But I always make an effort to actually write out in full the statement in English that I'm trying to say, like using the word as it's spelt, hopefully. But I mean, but my grammar sucks, and my spelling has gone to piss. Yeah. Oh God. In real life. Oh God. That's infuriating. In real life, when you're having a conversation with someone and they actually say, "Oh my God, I LOL'd," I LOL'd, when they like say that in like real life, unless there's like incredibly, incredibly, good reasoning behind it. Like, oh my, OMG, God, that's scary. Yeah, Twitter is corrupting. That's one of the main reasons why Twitter is evil. I said it before. I'll say it again. Twitter is evil. Death of our society. Twitter is it's the angel of death for our society. I am a part of it. I am a part of it. Oh well. No, fuck Twitter. Say it that way. Blood control. Fuck Twitter. It's fine. Yeah. Actually, 11 colors. That's a really good point. I think like any advertising or marketing student at any university should be forced to have a Twitter page and be graded on it. I mean, it's an excellent like exercise for writers. Uh, Unfortunately, it's misused. Um, I mean, like some of my favorite people in the world. oft-quoted and rarely outdone are people like H.L. Mencken, Oscar Wilde, Mark Twain, who have the ability within a small and concise period to completely pull apart a huge idea and reintroduce it to you in a hilarious way. It's an amazingly difficult thing to do, but like there's been writers throughout history who have done it. Dorothy Parker, you know, people who uh, like in a one-liner, uh, you know, can just totally say everything that needs to be said. I mean, like I forget who said it once, but it's worth repeating. I set out to write a book, but it was terrible. Oh, wait, no, 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 no. I think it goes. I started out writing a joke, but I couldn't get it across, so I wrote a short story, and the short story couldn't quite, explain it. So I wrote a novel, and the novel couldn't do it, so I put it into screenplay format, uh, and it got worse with each successive, level. It's like as the more you can concise down any piece of art you're doing, the better it gets. And the reverse is actually, it just, for most things, I know myself included, it just spirals out of control. Uh, how often am I on Japanese TV? Um, it depends on when. Like over the last year, I was on almost every day. Now I'm on like once a week at best. Because right now I don't have any gigs that have me on screen. Really, I I just have two TV shows that I occasionally appear on. I analyzed the whole Chris Pepler question asking thing, and I realized what it is. It's he comes from radio, and in radio, it's incredibly important to constantly in the background be going, oh, yeah, yeah, right, because you're invisible unless you're constantly making noise. So you have to, in the format of radio, constantly be in the background going, yeah, and no one can see you shuffling through pages because it's radio. Unfortunately, I think he's a really good radio guy, but on TV, that same habit comes across as not listening. Uh, so I think it's a good lesson to learn for any of you out there who want to be in media. Radio and TV performance are incredibly different things. He's a very cool guy. He's a very nice guy, very cool guy. But I think he's hampered somewhat by the fact that he's truly a radio guy. He's a nice guy. Very nice guy. Very nice guy. He does trim his facial hair. I got to start doing that. Lilac 85. All right, I'm gonna go out in search of food. I think I'm gonna forage because I'm getting chillier by the moment here. But I will take you all with me. Ah, let's see how much time we got on the battery here. Okay, the battery is half full. That should definitely give us an hour or so. Should be set. Uh, so hold on a second. I'm gonna go return my coffee. I bust my coffee like a good little cafe. What cafe? I don't know what the hell you would call them. Cafe patron. I'll be right back. Okay, so from previous experience, I know that the video quality is going to go to shit once I become mobile. So you're only going to get like freeze frames while I'm walking. Sorry about that. Um, but well, there's also a police. I should point out there's a police officer standing on a platform, literally like 5 feet away. So I think that I feel a little bit bold leaving my laptop with him around. Um, all right, so I gotta think of somewhere good to get lunch. Hmm, I don't know. What are you guys in the mood for? All right, let's go above ground. See what we find. Onto the escalator. This is probably when I look most crazy in a given day in Tokyo. When I'm walking around talking to my cell phone laptop. Someone just gave my phone a ring. Lost it. Wow, I'm triple tasking. I'm blogging. Sweet. Sweetness. Uh, my I had a third meeting at like 8 tonight, which I totally did not want to go to, and I think it just got canceled. But I will respond to that fellow after I look. Kaijin, Kaijin, they're over there. They're going into the. What are they doing? All right. So I'm now on the west side of Ikebukuro. Uh, and actually, I'm about to enter the famous Ikebukuro Westgate Park. Some of you may have seen the drama, Ikebukuro Westgate Park. Not sure if you have or not. Good drama. That is one of four British pubs called the Hub here in Ikebukuro, which I used to frequent often. Now I only go there like when I'm really desperate, because it's like the McDonald's of British beer. But this is Ikebukuro Westgate Park. Also, I've done a couple of videos here for events that happened at this kind of band shell stage. And there's always something going on, like in this. It's not. I mean, they use the word park incredibly loosely. Uh, there's some type of, I don't know, space bubble that has been constructed. Uh, Shitty modern art, but if you can see behind me, there's some sort of like space bubble thing. I don't know what the hell that is. Uh, let's go investigate. Ah, it appears to be a cafe, but I don't think they have food. Hmm. Huh. Apparently, it's some autumn festival event. I, there's always some like random constructed thing here. All right. Not sure exactly what's going on there. Not really sure I want to investigate. Uh, well, it's something. Something's going on. Akimatsuri. Right now, it's cold, according to my internal thermometer. Hmm. I'm thinking Indian or deli cafe. Uh, mm, Indian. And now I was trying to think of a place that. Trying to think of how loud the deli cafe is going to be. They also have like patio seats, which I like. But if they're closed, it's kind of cold. Dollyful, I'm confused as well. It's not just you. Where are there J girls? The thing is, the Indian place, the problem is, like, I can't really hang out there. Like, they kind of want you to eat and go. They're all about turnover. Got a few ideas. It's nice every now and then seeing, like, American brand things, like FedEx Kinkos, things like that. And you're like, oh, I know that. Sweet. Hmm. Yeah, how? Wow, look at that! Look at that grip! Look at that power in my one. I'm totally gonna build up, like, muscle muscle strength from doing this. This is my workout. It's starting to rain, I think. Or these people are just enjoying holding umbrellas for the sheer joy of it. Uh, okay, this is where I was thinking of going. Let me pop my head in and see how. Now it's gonna be dark inside, noisy. Hmm, what to do? What to do? Hmm. What else to eat? No power outlet, but I've got enough power for an hour or two, I think. Uh, fuck it. I'm gonna sit outside. Or I'll ask at least. Hold on. I'm gonna put my laptop down. Ugh. もう、はい、ありがとうございます。ペリアデビアッタあ、それじゃ、はい、わかりました。そして、とりあえず、プロトコル。はい。コーヒー。はい。あ、すいません。ペプシコーラ。はい。はい。以上です。はい。今日のパスタは、はい。はい。奥の方。はい。ありがとう。Sorry. Just ordering. I went with the Loco Moco. I'm crazy like that. Can't be stopped. Sweet. And there's even a little blanket for me. A little airline blanket for me, nothing. Now I get to mail back my boss and tell him I am okay with canceling meeting. えっと、send. Nice. All right, but this is kind of a chain, I guess. There's not many of them that like you just like. Oh, what was that? That's better. All right, there we go. I think that's as good an angle as I'm gonna get. And I'm back. It is cold outside. It is not that cold. Hey, so it's a wee bit chilly. Yeah, it's Celsius. Keep in mind. Oh shit! I didn't tell. I got a tweet. Sorry, I got a text message Obama real quick and tell him where I went. He's probably gonna go to the cafe and be standing around like, "Where the fuck is Cooney? Where'd Cooney go?" Let me just text message him. Okay. And send. Okay. Taken care of. I am a little pissed off though because I had wanted to get the penne arrabbiata, which is my favorite thing at this establishment, but they had only the lunchtime menu. I hate when they do that. You know, you go in there and you want that one thing. Oh, yum. was fast, actually. Not sure if you can enjoy this in its full. So it's a let's let's deconstruct this here. Get all this in view. Um, it's a they call it a locomoco, but it's a hamburger patty, kind of like a piece of meatloaf with a brown sauce, with a semi-cooked egg on top of it, uh, rice, and a salad. The most important part being the non-cooked egg, because yeah, I mean, as you just pointed out, you have to put egg on top of everything. It's a rule here in Japan. I'm not entirely sure why or how that started, but sorry, I'm going to be discussing and eating in front of you. Please go about your day. Almost forgot my wet nap. Exciting stuff. Why can't they drink milk? Occasionally I eat raw eggs, like sukiyaki. That's about the only time I eat like what I would consider like truly raw eggs. It's not really even. It cooks slightly, you know, when you dip the meat in the raw egg. Yeah, I mean the modern Japanese diet is not dissimilar to what you probably eat yourself. Right? Half of the city wakes up and has like a piece of jellied toast and a coffee. You know, a lot of their old traditional foods are less often eaten. Oh, nice! Look at that. A little hamburger with some yolk on there. Yum. Oh, hash browns. I love hash browns. I'm trying not to eat junk food anymore, but I still eat McDonald's breakfast. That doesn't count. Like McDonald's hash browns in the morning. When you just wake up in the morning, those hash browns and big cola. It's a great way to start the day. I wish they would make a Mega Mac hash brown. That would be awesome. Just a hash brown like the size of my head. Um, no bladder control. McDonald's is junk here, just as it is in America. Although they have like the McDonald's here, I'm sure they've made it in America. They've done like some try to quasi healthy things, like you can get a salad instead of the French fries, or they have like a kind of tortilla wrap with mostly vegetarian ingredients. You know, so they have. Oh, they do something. Bye, Alicia. Fried pickles. Mm, absolutely. Look, another one. Another police officer just passed by. Seriously, they're fucking everywhere. This must be what it's like to live in New York. Monme, I've been stopped many times for my gaijin card. I mean, not many, at least once a year. So about 8 times now. I mean, I don't get stopped nearly as often as some friends. I mean, it depends on how you look, obviously, and the neighborhoods you hang out in. But oh, thank you, Tokyo Tenchi. That's kind of you. Yeah, it was me. No, it's just I hate like when people are outwardly joyous. It always irritates me sometimes. They're like they're just walking on laughing. It's not important. It's not important. Don't worry about it. Tenji's great. I mean, when I last saw him this morning, he was doing solid. I swear that fish is healthier than me. He seems to be doing all right though. I just cleaned his tank last week, so it's nice and clean in there. I've had him like 3 years. Yeah, at least 3 years. My dog died though. Not my dog really, but the dog my parents watch and take care of. It was my brother's dog. It was an English Mastiff. Uh, Huge dog. He appeared briefly in my video of my trip back home for Christmas. Uh, and Yeah, he was old. He was like 13 or 14 when he finally died. Um, but yeah, it's kind of sad. Well, Charlotte, don't say that. Don't tell me that Kenji's still going to be around 20 years from now. I might not make it 20 years from now. But there's a serious possibility that Kenji will outlive me. I could you not. That's funny. Yeah, I'll leave everything to him. That's totally my plan. I don't really have anything though. That's kind of the other flip side of that though. Sushi, 2-3 me. Um, of the 8 times I've been searched, another cop car. Um, of the times I've been stopped, like I think it's about 8 times. Maybe half of them I've been searched. 2 of which humiliatingly so. Like in the middle of the street, like a full body pat down, and they went through my bag. And it was like, whoa, dude, this is like a bit above and beyond the call. Was my feeling. But but generally it's just they check your Gaijin card. Often, like if they're checking your bag or something, there's been a crime like in the like very recently nearby. Like like a convenience store got held up for money, and like the police will stop like men in the neighborhood who match the description and start going through their stuff. That I've seen. But I mean also to Japanese people, not solely to foreigners. With foreigners, it's usually just they just want to check the ID. But if you're, I don't know, doing something ayashi, what is that? Is that Japanese in English? Suspicious. Um, they'll, maybe they'll go and look through your bag. I haven't seen that story. Let me 2213. Yes, several. Mm. But you could totally like type a Twitter post and hack someone to death with an axe at the same time. I mean, I could at least. Now we're getting to this leafy vegetable thing on the other side of the plate where the meat was resting against. Hmm. Not sure what to do with this. I guess I'll try putting it in my mouth. Can't hurt. That's what she said. Oh! I see how you said to the bishop. Sushi 23. I'll answer the way I always answer. Usually. Usually. Yum. Don't tell. Baby's done. Uh, there's a pepper lunch in the background actually. And it was down the street. I'd have to move. It's pretty far down the street though. There's a detour, pepper lunch, Cafe Velocé. Ikebukuro has pretty much everything. Like, there's nothing you could want for in Ikebukuro. The only problem with Ikebukuro is, how do I put this? Like, no Michelin-starred chef will ever open their restaurant in Ikebukuro. But we got all the basics. We got everything you could need. But we're never going to have an Ikebukuro kind of like the higher level of culture and society. I mean, Ikebukuro is basically ghetto. They may Packer 75. Uh, Tricks Jason, you could say Gochiso sama, you know, Gochiso sama deshita. Oh, look him out. Hey, dude. Actually, Locomote's the man who hooked me up with that TV torrent site I was talking about earlier. Brother done me a solid. I'm gonna have to pay that back one day. It's so far beyond awesome. It's like my illegal torrent wet dream. I've seen like there is one website that specializes in torrents of Japanese dramas that have been subtitled by fans. I don't remember the address, but I know it exists. It's out there somewhere. Yeah. That's it. D addicts. Yeah. Um, Problem is like it's always like the drama I want they don't do though. Like there's been a couple times where like I really wanted to see a drama and they've done like the first episode and then stopped like subtitle it. It's like oh yeah, lots of non-supplements as well. I don't, I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of Japanese dramas. There's been a few that I've liked, but I mean, for any number of reasons, they're inferior to American TV. And those reasons, generally speaking, are most TV shows to get on air have to have a famous person as the vehicle for the show, and the famous person is rarely an accomplished actor, but rather a pop singer or something like that. So, they basically take these non-stars, non-professional actors, and wedge them into shows. Uh, so it kind of makes for, you know, shitty acting. And then budgets, like the budgets are far smaller than in the West. And lastly, writing. Generally, Japanese the Japanese industry has this like feeling that shows should be written by one person. So a lot of shows are written by one person, or at least publicly, they're said to have been written by one person. Whereas the group writing model in the states, which is extremely expensive, also doesn't really exist here. So whereas you get like a staff of like 20 writers working on a show like Lost, you've got a dude working on a show like a Japanese drama. So, and sometimes, sometimes having a single writer, I think helps it. Sometimes I think it's a negative. Yeah, and also I think dramas in general have in Japanese society a very low sort of cultural rank. So, like if you say that you're a drama writer, that's maybe not as cool or as like socially awesome as being a film writer or a manga ka. I think in different societies, talented artists gravitate towards different fields because in that country, that's the most, valued art form. You know, so I think at some level, of course, the Japanese. Another one. Another. So the Japanese tend to gravitate towards specific art forms. Like young, like artistic, talented people might decide to go into manga rather than TV because they look at TV and they're like, wow, TV sucks. All the stories are just these shitty vehicles for like, cartoon and smap singers. I don't want to be an artist in that field. And so they go into some other field of art. Second. I think that should take care of it. All right, I'm getting a little bit chilly, so I'm going to settle my bill here, and then go to a coffee shop for our last hour of fun. Awesome. Ah, back. All right. So where were we? Don't ever leave us like that again. Lady here handing out flyers. No free tissues attached, so no thank you. Oh, damn it! Just missed the light. This is Marui, uh, which is often confused by foreigners who first come here. Because I thought, yeah, see if I can show you closer. The name is OI City, and so when I first got here, I thought it was Oi City, but it's actually Marui. Marui. Maru is the Japanese word for like circle, basically, which is why the Hinomaru is the flag, has the round rising, with the round sun on it. A little Japanese tidbit for you there. Tiny little police car that is. Seriously, there are fucking cops everywhere. It's crazy. Crazy. Never been pulled over on my bike, but I almost never, ever, ever ride my bicycle for exactly that reason. I have one, uh, and it was a gift. It was a gift from a woman, so it's registered in her name. But I don't want her to find out where I live or that I'm alive. So I don't think I can transfer the registry without doing that, without contacting her. So I just have this awkward situation where I've got this bike registered to this Japanese woman's name, and I know if I ride it and get stopped, I'd be like, that's funny, you don't look like a Hiroko. I'm like, funny story. Alright. Ooh, I can already feel the warmness inside. I'm gonna go get a coffee. Do you want anything? No? Okay. Um, but nap number 2. How exciting. Clean this lens a bit. Not going anywhere. Ask who? No. Yes, Dolly, full. I did at one point. I went and had an EKG, and the doctor's like, "You're fine. Less coffee, less nicotine, less 12-hour work days." You know. And my favorite thing of all, cookies, cookies, and Gabby. All right, our job's getting tight over there. And Oshima, I'll get back to that. I love Oshima. Um, no, the unemployment rate here is much lower than in the States because Japan, for a decade now, has been shrinking. Like we're having population shrinking problems. So, if anything, Japan can look forward to lots of employment because we have fewer people, fewer and fewer people every year, and more older people. There's going to be a huge shortfall in the nursing industry. Um, but basically, employment is not such a big issue here. We need more people, and the government is scrambling to try and fix it by either poking holes in people's condoms or, I mean, if they have to, as a last worst case scenario, import like foreigners to do the jobs. But at the moment, they're still holding the line at professionals, people with some type of professional, like a university degree at least, to enter the country. But they're starting to get some wiggle room for certain types of jobs. Back to Oshima, the Izu Islands, awesome. Very much, I recommend going there. My favorite is Hachijojima. Nijima is also nice. If you like surfing, Nijima is great. Fuki, Fuki. Ah, or whoever said my hair is a fucking mess. Fracking mess. But again, it's like day old hair wax. I'm just gonna make it go crazy. Oh, I go like that. Oh, the old framer. Jerry, I got this idea. Uh, I hope everyone got their screen caps while they could. Yeah, I'm up to episode 7, I think. New season of Curb Your Enthusiasm. It's funny. I hate watching that show. I love the show, but I hate watching that show because whenever I'm watching it, I slowly start turning into Larry David. Like last night, I was at this like a party with friends, a place called Kimono Wine Bar. Lovely place, highly recommend it. But everything I'm about to say is going to be about how angry I was last night there. So it was like 12 people or so, friends, and like people were kind of coming like as they go. And I ordered the lasagna. Right? They had a short menu. They had a lovely looking lasagna. So I ordered the lasagna, and then later this guy Tapia shows up, and like there's no seat for him. So I'm like, I got a small ass. I'll kind of scooch over. You can share the seat with me. So he kind of sits next to me, and then someone leaves, and then a seat opens up. So I move now a full seat down on the table. And this guy David, who was sitting at the end, right? He came in after me, and I look over like 15 minutes later, and he's eating lasagna. I'm like, wow, that's kind of strange. How did he get, his lasagna so quick? And I'm still waiting. It's now been like 40 minutes. I haven't got my lasagna yet. And then so I flag over the waiter. I'm like, hey, where's that lasagna? And he's like, oh, yeah, Soon, very soon, very soon. All right, so I'm like, all right, yeah, okay, I'm gonna get it. I'm hungry, but hunger is the best condiment. And my friend Chris, who has gotten this dip, some type of dip, like a bread type thing, he orders some more bread from the waiter, and he's like, "I'm sorry, we're out of bread for today." And like, I start getting this like bad feeling in the back of my mind, like something's. I'm not gonna get bread with my lasagna, am I? I'm totally not gonna get bread with my lasagna. And sure enough, the lasagna shows up like a full 45 minutes after I ordered it. No bread. But David down at the fucking end got my lasagna with bread. So he got the bread, and I didn't get the bread because he fucking stole my lasagna. And he must have been so pleasantly surprised too. He's just like, "Oh wow, what quick and speedy service in this place! I just sat down and they're already serving my lasagna." And then it was like the rest of the night, I could not like get it out of my head. But it was like such like a David Larry moment, like where it's such a meaningless little thing. Like I didn't get the bread, like he got the bread that was my bread. But it's like, but when you watch that show, it somehow exacerbates those little moments that you start like thinking like Larry David, like as though it's some type of major incident. Like you got my bread. You know, there's an order. There's an order to the food service. You should have been the one who got no bread. But it was a total Larry David moment. The other one I had, which is a real Larry David moment, was my friend Spring, who has multiple sclerosis. So she walks kind of a limp. She's kind of handicapped. And we're walking through Harajuku, and we're about to get to the station. And I pull out like my IC Suica card, and I'm gonna just like breeze right through the gates. And she's like, "Oh, hold on a second, I gotta buy a ticket." And like, I can see the train coming, and like she's like gimping her way over to buy her ticket, and I just like went through the gates and went and got the train and left, and like abandoned her. Uh, but it was like this like judgment call, a very Larry David-esque judgment call that like I did not abandon a handicapped person. I abandoned her because she doesn't have the electronic pass. That's within her control. I mean, if she had the Suga card, I would have waited for her. But if she's gonna buy a ticket every time she rides the train, that's her life. That's her life choice. That's her personal decision to do that. I don't have to be slowed down by her. But the thing is, like, if someone had been watching from a distance, they would have thought like I ran for the train because she's handicapped. But it's not. It's not about that at all. It's because she doesn't have an IC card. That's it. But it's a very kind of like Larry David. You're misconstrued as being an asshole. I guess it is kind of asshole-ish now that I think about it, though. Well, that's the whole point, though. Like from an outside observer, they would think that I like ran for the train and ditched her because she's handicapped, but it wasn't. It wasn't that she's handicapped. It was because she didn't have an IC card, and that pisses me off. Like people who still buy tickets. I don't know why. The technology is out there. It's been around for like years now. Exactly. 666-300. But I mean, actually, to be honest, like the show is worn off. Its charm is gone for me now. It was funny a long time ago, but it's. I still watch it. I still like it, but I know. I buy the newspaper still. I bought the newspaper today. Because every now and then, like, I want to have the newspaper in my hands to, like, read to the coffee shop. But, like, yeah, it's like people who don't like, get their news online. People who buy newspapers. Cookie. Cookie! Um, I haven't even cracked mine yet. Today's Japan Times. Emperor March 20th year of reign. JAL going out of business. JAL going out of business. It's in English. Dunkin'. Absolutely. Tokyo Tenchi. Dunkin' Donuts. Without a doubt. Yeah, JAL is basically only still a company because for the last 10 years it's been kept alive by government intervention. It's funny. New York One News has some sort of deal worked out with MXTV in Tokyo where they do a special report for Japanese TV. Like the Japanese caster says, now we're going to throw it over to New York One News for the latest from New York City, and then they cut to a feed from the NY1 news feed from New York, and they have some, case that's global in nature or maybe Japanese people would care about, and then they throw back to the studio in Tokyo. That was awesome. It's the first time I've ever seen anything like that. On TV. Like, two completely different entities, MXTV in Japan sharing a feed with like a live reporter from like New York One. It was like the New York One anchor. It was interesting. Wawa, nice. Waffle House, always like that. Said it before, and I'll say it again. The things you miss most when you go to a foreign country are the shittiest parts of your old country. Because I can get good stuff here, but like it's American crap that I miss most. Yeah, Mexican barbecue Waffle House, absolutely. Zero cuts. That's like the top of the list. I wonder if I lost some of them. Email back. Uh, lost like this. Uh, wow, I've just come into a bizarre conversation. If I want to eat some steak in Japan, um, well, the previously mentioned pepper lunch is a fast food place that serves steak, but it's not really good. It's cheap, but I like it. The only times I ever really eat steaks are at home. Actually, I buy steaks in the supermarket and cook them at home. And like like, I mean, but in restaurants, it's always so prohibitively expensive. Like I was out Wednesday night and really nice restaurant called Stellato in Shirakanedai, and like the main course was like $20 for the chicken dish and $40 for the steak. So I went with the chicken dish, obviously. You know, so you look at the menu like, I bet that steak's gonna be really nice. But like when it's double the price, I go chicken. Well, the chicken was nice. It was good. It was good. Solid, good grilled chicken. Yeah, actually, I should have gone to grilled chicken dishes because they were incredibly tiny. All right, sweet. He just emailed me. He's like, 7:30, 8 o'clock. Can we push back the meeting a little bit later? But I have to see him tomorrow anyway. So they're like, well, we could do it tonight or we could do it tomorrow. I don't know. And he just decided we're gonna do it tomorrow. So okay, I have my evening back. I have a party night now. This is so exciting. Oh, what could I do? What should I do with my Friday evening? Oh, I know. Make a YouTube video. I have to find something. I do. Yeah, I think I got some ideas. Honestly, I just want to do nothing. I want to go home and crawl into my bed and sleep, read. I know. God, I used to read so much. I barely read anything at all anymore. Other than like YouTube comments. That's the only thing I read anymore. Read signs. I hedge on my balcony. I'm not gonna do it. Actually, I just got. I bought a complete works from Flannery O'Connor, a big volume, like huge. I just bought that a couple weeks ago. I've read the intro, but I mean I've read most of her stuff, at different points in my life. But looking forward to reading the stories by her I haven't read yet. Yeah, I had a friend who used to use his balcony for grilling. He had like a little hibachi and charcoal to try and grill up there, but like the neighbors would call the fire department every time he tried to do it. And they come and they get all angry at him. It's like, you cannot grill on barbecue, you cannot grill on balcony. And so like the next time he did, he went next door and said, hey, I'm going to start grilling on the balcony, so don't call the fire department this time. You know, he did not endear himself to the neighbors. Uh, I think I understand what you mean, sold to life. Sold out to life. Yeah, yeah, balconies. I mean, some people keep their washing machine on their balcony. You know, one of the houses I looked at had an awesome balcony. It was like an actual deck. It was huge. That was one of the biggest selling points for it. But the first floor kitchen was on a slant. It was on like a kind of a angle. So like if you put a marble at one end of the kitchen, like it would roll down to the other side of the kitchen. And something about that was a little bit disconcerting. But it was otherwise a great house. It's actually only like a block and a half away from where I live now. Every now and after every time there's an earthquake, I run over there to make sure, see if it's still there. I really like that. I really like that house, but this in the end it was just too, you know, too suspect. Oh, it's still there. And actually, I'm gonna this time a year from now I have to start looking for a new place because my contract on this house is only 2 years. Um, and from what I'm told, somebody else has already been promised to move in at the end of this 2 year contract. So it's quite possible I'm gonna have to move again about a year from now. It's a huge pain in the ass. But I was like, that's one of the things. It's an awesome house, and I got it at a great price. But one of the reasons is um, they told me when I signed the contract, you can't renew the contract past 2 years. And stupidly, I said, I'll deal with it later. I've moved one, two, three. I've moved 4 times, 5 times. I've moved in Tokyo. Uh, yeah, no, I had to do everything all over again. Pain in the ass. No, for district. This is a special district. It's just this house in particular. It's like the owner of the house is like nephew or something like that is like coming back from somewhere. I don't know what it is, but someone in the family is going to move into the house. But in the meantime, they wanted to rent it out, so it was cheaper than it normally would have been because of the limited nature. And then there's also the possibility that like whoever it was that was going to move into the house has died. I can hope for that they had some car accident or something, or there was a divorce in the family and now they don't talk. So I can renew it. That could happen. You know, I got to be hopeful. But yeah, it's not about my family. Probably mine. I don't know. It's sad. I'm not gonna actually stab anybody. Just like if the right person did get stabbed, it would kind of help my situation out of it. I mean, why does every stabbing have to be so like? I mean, there's no silver linings allowed in this world. Come on, people. I mean, like whenever I've been to like Hiroshima and Nagasaki, it is. It's awful. It's a terrible, terrible thing. But I mean, it's a couple of these people had to be real assholes. Not every single person who died was like an awesome person. You know, bad things happen. Um, let's see. I don't know. No, I'm not going to apply for citizenship ever. I am going to apply in 2 years' time for permanent residency, which is an important difference from citizenship. I have no desire to become a citizen of Japan under current law because I would have to give up my American citizenship in order to do that, and I cannot imagine any world events being such that I would give up my like birthright like that. Mr. Cookie, that's true. The cookie was, for me, one of the most gratifying parts of the day so far. Zero Kapsa, yes, that is correct. これはいくらですか? We don't really celebrate December 7th. Usually the newspaper carries something. Occasionally they I mean, it's hard to understand, I think, but the movie Pearl Harbor um, with Ben Affleck. Was it Ben Affleck in that? Whoever. I mean, that screened at many theaters in Tokyo and did fairly well at the box office. Uh, because, like, for younger Tokyoites who went to see the movie, it's so disassociated from reality. It's so far in the past that it doesn't have any meaning anymore, really. My God. No, I've actually never been to Hiroshima or Nagasaki. I had a friend who just went. I'd like to go to see certain sites out there, but I don't really have any interest in going to see the nuclear bomb site. It's just, I mean, it's a personal thing, but I've never understood people who want to take their vacation time to visit like huge historical tragedies. Like, oh, summer break, let's go to Buchenwald. That'll be fun, you know. Personally, if I get a day off, I want to go somewhere happy, you know. I mean, if I really had a lot of extra time, I would go, but like, yeah, I get how bad the atomic bombs were. I'm clear on it. I don't think I need to go wallow in it. Yeah, I'm sure it will. That's the thing is, like, but I think some people, when they travel, they are looking for these like soul awakening moments of realization about humanity. Uh, where they go to an atomic bomb site or Grand Canyon or some place that is inspiring in one way or the other, and that's the purpose of their traveling. Um, I travel so that I can get drunk in bars I don't usually go to, and meet people I never have to see again. That's my main motivation when traveling. Uh, yeah, that's my ticket. Um, Dances with Poles. That's a great username. That's a great idea. I'll do it. Like, I mean, Thailand, I almost want to go just for all of the civil unrest. I mean, they've got like a low simmering revolution going on there. Yeah, that'd be cool to get to see, like, to be in a country during a civil war. I kind of want to experience that at least once. Yeah, exactly. Go to Bangkok, watch a riot or two, drink some Chang beer. Manila Cooney. God, yeah, I think that was a good choice not to have done that. As I look back, I think I made the right decision coming to Japan, meaning not another country. Wow. Can this table be more unstable? Yeah, I met Betamax a couple times. Very cool dude. I haven't seen him up any videos recently. Uh, I mean that's the thing. All right, this is the thing. This is the thing. All right. If I would claim anything on YouTube, I would only claim longevity. Everybody gets into making you, and they're making all these videos. And like, oh, this is so much fun! Look at all these crazy videos I'm making. I'm making all these videos, and everyone's like, wow, that person's so great. Then people shit on me for not like putting out videos as often as these other people. But like 3 years later, I am still making videos. You know, and I don't burn myself out. Granted, but like I'm still doing it. So in terms of longevity, that means something. 'Cause I've seen tons of people come through here, and or it's just because they've left Japan. I mean, any number of people. The Daily English Show, Discount Sausage, um, there's a number of people who just, they left the country, so they stopped blogging. You know, so but he was an incredibly talented guy. I mean, I'm sure he's working on something. But it's just like, he's an artist at heart, and artists tend to find new passions. So he's probably working on his music, or I don't know, writing a book, or doing something. He's a musician, so I'm guessing the reason he's not on YouTube is because he's working on his music. I don't think I've ever seen him without a hat, to be honest. Uh, yeah, I'd say Japan is safer and cleaner than the U.S. Well, I mean, depends on what area of the U.S. You know, like Marco's Vineyard is probably a bit nicer than Shibuya, but in general, yeah. And I take my women like I take my tea, limp, and at the end of a string. I was gonna say rope, but that doesn't really make sense. I gotta work on that. Can gaijins go into the jail? Well, I mean, if they're run by Chinese women, yes, no problem. Uh, if it's the locals, then there's probably like a Japanese pimp dude who will be like, no gaijin. I guess. I don't know. I don't know. How would I know about something like that? As with everything in Japan, it depends on the individual you come into contact with. I don't know if I go that far, Akane. No, no. Actually, I was like thinking like they were, cutting me from the episode or something because I hadn't heard anything about it. But it turns out they're not filming the studio portion until December 3rd. So we're not actually going to even finish it. And now they told me they need to do another day, a refilming day. So I'll have to go back to Akihabara again and do one more day of filming, and then it's going to air sometime after December 3rd. So I think we filmed it together with the other episode as a cost saving measure. That they thought it would be like they could get two episodes for the price of one by filming them at the same time. But I think I assumed they were gonna show them back to back as like a part one, part two. But apparently the part two has from the beginning been planned to come out like months later, entirely unconnected to the first one. So I kind of had my factoids mixed up. What's London like in comparison to Tokyo? That's a good question. Actually, London, I would say London is more similar to Tokyo than New York is in many ways. Um, in terms of the city layout, like London is a lower city compared to New York. New York, like, should go straight up, 100 floors. With London, nothing really goes up that high. For the most part, that's true in Tokyo. You don't get so many buildings over 10 floors, generally, except in like specific areas like Shinjuku, um, or like the Sunshine City building. And people, the personalities of the people are quite similar. People pretty much keep to themselves. Yeah, Connie's right. Irony does not come across well on the internet. I just wrote a blog about that on JIBTV, which I think will be posted today. I don't know. I wrote it. It's on JIBTV.com. My blog section there. It's about trying to create an emocon for irony and the word gonad, which I'm trying to get people to start using. Gonad meaning, of course, uh, gaijin of non-Asian descent, meaning white or black foreigners in Tokyo, not including like Filipinos, Chinese, Koreans. So gaijin of non-Asian descent, gonads. I'm a gonad. I'm a gaijin, but I'm also a gonad. Because it all came from I think I've told the story before on here, and I tell it in the blog. But I was at this restaurant, and there was this Japanese dude next to me, mouthing off to his friend about how it's easy for gaijin to marry a Japanese woman, but it's very difficult for a Japanese man to marry a gaijin woman. And I pointed out that he's in fact wrong. That 70% or more of international marriages in Tokyo are between Japanese men and foreign women, but those foreign women are almost all from China, Korea, and the Philippines. So the wide majority of international marriages in Japan are between Japanese men and Chinese, Korean, and Filipino women. A very, very, very small segment of that number is white dudes and their Japanese wife. But when you're walking down the street, people notice the white dude and the Japanese wife, or the black dude and the Japanese wife, because it stands out. The Japanese guy and like a Filipino woman, nobody notices. So, to the lazy eye, it would seem that yeah, statistically, there's more international couples between white dudes, but it's completely not the case statistically. That's why I realized that like you need a term for like white and black gaijin to discuss them separately from gaijin in general. Because basically what that guy really meant was it's very easy for a white guy to marry a Japanese girl, but it's very difficult for a Japanese guy to marry a white girl. And then he would be right. That's probably true. Um, but he didn't say that. He said gaijin. And so my issue is with like, the word gaijin does not mean white people. Well, I mean, the Japanese men not, getting with the like every Western woman I know over here is how do I put it, desperate for a piece. Because yeah, I mean, Japanese men are not aggressive in the way that foreign men are. Gonads are, I should say. Oh, if you said gonad, I wouldn't have argued it. But I mean, but it is. It's just like and like I do it myself. Like all like gonads, we talk about like our problems, our issues, but they're really only issues that affect like North Americans living in Japan. Nothing to do with like the daily life of like an Asian or Korean or Chinese. Like their day to day life is entirely different from my experience. But like when foreigners like myself talk about gaijin life in Japan for a gaijin, what I really should be saying is life in Japan for a white guy, because it's not the same thing for an Asian woman. Golly, well, that's pretty true. And, but anyway, I'm just ranting now. Later, Danya. I'm out of here too. I'm gonna get going in like 10 minutes or so. I have to actually go and work until about 8ish. I'll be free after 8 in the evening. Get up to a little banditry, some shenanigans, tomfoolery, color challenge. Yeah, you're right for distract. Well, I don't have anything to do, and filming at night is always an issue because my camera sucks at night. Right now, I'm planning on trying to come up with something to film on Sunday. Sunday is the big day. So I'm gonna do a little search to see what's going on in the city Sunday, or if not, go find something. Yeah. People have been telling me ever since I got on blogTV I should go to Ustream. But I've made my bed. I'm gonna lay in it. Yeah, I mean, I remember like there was a little mini uprising in the first year of YouTube. People started abandoning ship for Vimeo, or no, not Vimeo. What was it? I don't remember the website. And a lot of notable YouTubers like abandoned ship and went over to Veo. No, not stick Vizio now, Daily Motion now. Something with an S, I think. Anyway, nah, Dora, it's time for it. Like a lot of people went over there, and it was like it was the same shit. You know, they had a slightly clearer, like streaming capability. Like their video looked better, but eventually, Rever. That's what it was, Rever. Yeah, a bunch of I remember like this is like 2.5 years ago. A bunch of YouTubers, prominent ones, like left and went to Rever, uh, and because it was at the time the video quality on Rever was better. But then, sure enough, eventually YouTube, upgraded their video quality, and now I think nobody has any problem with the video quality on YouTube, which used to be the big complaint. You know, so I'm always more of like instead of like ditching the website, just hold on. Like they'll update it, they'll work the kinks out. But Simon, Omerito, Dad. Wow. I remember the first time I was told that I had a child. Uh, it's, I mean, so many emotions go through you all at once. You know, that's great that you're doing it with like your wife. That's great. That's awesome. Kind of like Bob Marley in various nations around the world. There's little baby coonies. I'm imagining. No, I would only have a kid so that like if I ran out of material, I might have a kid so that I could have something to talk about on stage. That's the only way in which you can see with it. But you go something that's awesome. That's really awesome. Yeah, that's probably lying. We're drunk. Tokyo Toddler. Yeah, here goes Simon. Are you gonna open a channel for your kid? Oh, Jagoff. That's good. I like that sick puppy. Yeah. You know the world wants to see that cute little bundle of joy. Actually, I had a business partner who just had a kid 6, 7 months ago, and it's like all I get now are, Photoshop pictures of his kid. Like no more work ever takes place. Just Photoshop pictures of his kid. Every email, every phone call has to begin with like, "So how's the kid? Good. Great." Manbaby.com. I'm afraid to check that out. Emily. Exactly, exactly. I mean, it's good to do a little bit of it, like the baby photo showing, but you don't want to be that guy. You don't want to be the like when people like avoid you at parties because they know you're gonna like whip out your iPhone and be like, "Just take a look what you did. He vomited. It was so cute." Yeah, I don't want to see the baby. I don't want to see the baby. Uh, why is it always a 50-year-old Japanese man? Yeah, I want kids. But I prefer like they find me after they've grown up to like 19 or 20. Like they track me down and they're like, "Are you are you Kevin Cooney? I think you're my father." And then I can like take him out to dinner. I'm like, "Wow, you're my son. It's so great that we met." And I can kind of give them like a little interview, And if they're cool, I can be like, "Son, I love you." But if they're kind of like lame, or it doesn't look like they're going to be financially successful, I can just be like, "Well, it's nice meeting you. This is my email. Keep in touch. You can Facebook friend me, um, and I hope it all works out for you." Yeah, no, exactly. Because that's the other thing. I want them to be raised by other people without me having to do anything, or lose any sleep or pay money. And then like when they're like 19, they track me down, and I have I can be like, "Hey, yeah, I'm your dad," or I can be like, "Yeah, I'm your dad, but woo, look at the time, gotta go." I think that's the key. That's the better alternative. Exactly, and if one of them actually, if I had enough of them, and they got scattered about, the likelihood that like at least one of them would end up being like wildly successful, and then I could just go live off that kid. It's kind of like an insurance policy. Yeah, I know. I think a robot baby would be cool too. Hiko Simon would know better since he knows more about legal stuff than I do, but I'm pretty sure Japan is still pretty much 1950s. Uh, it's not nearly as strict on deadbeat dads, I believe. But actually, I think no Japanese man would do the dishonorable thing. Almost none. I don't think it's as big an issue here. Uh, yeah, I have to. He goes on, says, "Pay a lump sum of the divorce and then kiss your family goodbye." Because, they don't have shared custody so much here, or really at all. The kid legally has to be one or the other. Do they have weird TV shows? 2 minutes left in the broadcast. I cannot even begin. Why did I decide to live in Tokyo? Well, that's somewhere in the archive of videos on this channel. I've answered many, many times. But to sum it up, there's no good reason. And I just want to say thanks to everybody. Maybe I'll get into that question next time, next week. Hopefully have a guest. I got to go meet up with Mama. He's in town, and he just Skyped me, like emailed me a text, a thing, and he wants me to go down there and meet him. So I should do that. So much fun talking with all you folks. Come by next time. Hopefully, I'll have something exciting to share with you. I'll say hi to Obama for you, and have fun. I'll see you guys on the internet.